kill a bunch of innocent civilians, kill a bunch of a school full of little fucking girls, right? Half Americans. Because you got a bunch of military right now, bro. They're not with this shit. The United States military personnel, they're not fucking with this shit, bro. They understand what the fuck's going on. They are not with this shit. The majority of America's not with this shit.
Yeah, but
they want to try something different this time.
This is crying wolf, though. This is crying wolf.
It's not crying wolf. We're always going down a path of murder, slaughter, instead of saying, hey, let's fucking be men, take the fucking out, stop fucking with these people, and maybe we can go with historically where they never fucked with us, unprovoked, that maybe they'll stop fucking with us and we can just be men and admit the fuck that we were wrong and try to work something out in a more diplomatic fashion without so much fucking bloodshed.
Well, J.D. Vance is in Pakistan. He's negotiating a deal.
Look, hold on. If at that point, they're not willing to accept the fact that, the United States has been, hey, we did some shit we probably shouldn't have fucking done. We apologize. Let's do our best to try to make this right. And then they still want to say death to America. Then at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, we got to do what we got to do because we're not going to let America fall. But why are we rushing to bloodshed before diplomacy? That's my question.
We are diplomatic all the time. Are you kidding me? Communication never stops.
And again, with these ceasefires, again, it has always been us in Israel to fuck up and go back on the fucking we fucking commit to, bro.
See, be fair, right? We've only had one sitting president go to the DMZ. One. The only sitting presidency to try diplomacy that ever went to the DMZ. That's Donald J. Trump. He went there. He believes in diplomacy. But if you're going to act like, what happened with the 12-day war? We obliterated the nuclear sites. All right, cool. We obliterated it. But they were going to have the ability to retrieve that material. And they already have
it's not obliterated, Anthony. Listen to what you just said. And it's not obliterated. If it
you can't obliterate that without it detonating.
Okay, so I'm not saying that the term obliterated is relative. It doesn't mean that they couldn't recover it. Based on the information we had at the time, we believed when he said it during the 12-day war, right after the 12-day war, that it was a successful mission. We didn't build up the troops immediately.
If we gotta go back,
we had bad intelligence.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is so weird. You guys are now definitions are relative. No, obliterated is not relative. Obliterated means obliterated since it's mean obliterated. So again, then we gotta start looking at our administration. Then you're giving us false fucking information.
Give them information.
And then we just don't have to even give that information, right?
Had fucking Clapper or whoever was on there, and then some other nuclear scientists, they all were saying you couldn't destroy the material. Like, you can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't bomb it from the outside. It just doesn't work that way. I know you know that, and I think some people are like literally confused. He was referring to their sites. They were obliterated. Like, to say otherwise is just kind of weird. But that material, and we didn't know if they smuggled it out, which apparently they said that they were not going to cease production. Anything above 20% becomes weapon grades capable. And it becomes a point of saying, well, the rest of the world doesn't want you to have this. Like, nobody sides with you on having this. And so we're going to say you can't have this, and we're going to go ahead and intervene on that. So, I mean, even there, yeah, Trump may have used the wrong word, but the sites were obliterated. You just can't kill uranium that way. Otherwise, Chernobyl, we would have just carpet bombed it and then been like, all right, it's all cleaned up. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, and my point is this. We in America, we talk about intelligence. Let's stop believing our intelligence altogether. Let's just ignore it forevermore because we can't say that it's been accurate, right? So let's just ignore it. Let's ignore Israel's because it's maybe been wrong. So we ignore it. But the fact is our intelligence didn't know they could go 2,500 miles. The intelligence doesn't know who has a gun in our own country. And you believe that they couldn't have maybe achieved it and moved it or have it at a secure location because the IAEA in 2025 said they have locations undisclosed to us. which was a violation, right? So the fact is, they could have it. We don't know. Our intelligence didn't know about their freaking other missiles. Now, we should know about those if they've been firing them off, right? But to have the warhead, they haven't fired it off. We don't know if they've got it or not, because let's be real, the shit is down there deep. We don't know what's down there unless we don't have anybody going in there that I'm aware of. Israel maybe did have somebody that maybe they can say, no, we're not quite there. But the reality is we don't
Have
know.
you and Jeffrey
And when you play too conservative with your let's just give him a shot, that's when the guy takes the hammer and goes from the car to the woman's head, right? We waited too long.
Ice, the zit has already popped. The zit has already popped, Ice. When the Ayatollah was taken out and 200 other executives at the fake meeting they orchestrated, you would think that if they had a fail-safe, they would flip that switch and say, fuck it, we've already lost, and we will dispense everything. Don't believe the lies about these cave fortresses. If you got to bring a fucking rocket out of a hole from a mountain, you can blow that fucking hole to hell, and they ain't bringing out nothing. So it's not a fail-safe. There's no such thing as a perfectly secure military fortress. You are living in fucking La La Land, in my opinion. You're living in fucking La La Land.
So again, it's the issue of crying wolf. We heard this about Saddam Hussein and the weapons of mass destruction. Exactly what you said. We heard this about Assad with chemical weapons. And look, everything again. You cannot get mad at the American people for doubting what the United States government has been crying wolf with several other fucking leaders, several other countries, several other fucking conflicts. Again, it's been lie after lie after lie, and it's been our tax dollars, it's been our sons and daughters' blood. Okay, so again, we're not the ones you have to have an issue with. It's the United States fucking government. We're done. We're tired of fucking being lied to. And if the United States government cared that fucking much, Ice, they would have told all them fucking lies.
Okay,
The few times
who's the IAEA with? Is the IAEA American? Is that an American establishment that we use, or is that something that's international? Is that our intelligence when the IAEA goes into study this and says this is our findings? Is that American intelligence, or is that something that comes from abroad?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's an international agency, so that's why I'm saying, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't know what our intelligence told us. None of us are going to know the exact thing. They're not going to tell us what's going on, but I'll tell you this. I just know what the agency that the world relies on, what they said. And when we wait, you can wait a little too long because the new technology now.
That's not true, though, is it, Ice?
Hold on.
Ice. You just said the IAEA.
Hold on. So I gotta ask you a question.
They truly said it wasn't. Iran wasn't enriching any uranium, and the American intelligence itself, Tom Scabbat, said that no one had any belief that Iran was enriching uranium. So I don't. If your argument is you're aiming it on intelligence, then I don't really understand where that's coming from.
Hold up. So let's just say Iran has a lot hidden in those mountain ranges, and they've had it for years. What's the indication that they were going to strike the U.S.? And I'm going to be honest, because someone mentioned it earlier. When we talk about imminent threats who have nukes to the U.S., Kim Jong-un has been popping shit for a very long time. And now wants him to go over there and take away his toys. So this for out of let's just say it's just crazy to me how like whimsically in 2025 we just got to go over there and start fucking with him, and then we do it again. So like, where is this innate disposition for the U.S. to now all of a sudden under this administration just go count them as an immediate threat? Then we're over there, we're saying it's a regime change. Then the administration, Trump even said, he's like, hey, that's ready for moves. Let's take that. Let's also take into account, right? Trump is stuck with his adversaries, China and Russia, who get a lot of their oil from that strip. So it was kind of like a play from Trump's administration to say, hey, let's kind of fuck with our major players That way we can kind of regulate what they have going on. But obviously it's not working.
So Mister, I'll just say this: like currently in Korea, we walked across the DMZ. Kim Jong-un hasn't done shit with Trump in office because I'll be quite frank, he's probably terrified and probably wants to work on economic relations. And there's been some talks, but those go under the radar. Also, we have a whole DMZ zone that pretty much guarantees we're doing something there. And we currently have their entire Navy, their naval fleet, including most of their fishing fucking things, locked in a harbor. They aren't getting out. They don't have the capabilities to do absolutely anything except stay there. He can launch a missile, but there is nothing going on. He's encircled. He's trapped in. And China and every other nation is not really giving North Korea the big out. In fact, they have a working relationship, but it's not as cozy as people think or the news media would make it out to be, because China really doesn't allow a lot of the North Koreans to cross over, and they've done a lot of things to North Koreans that have, like, quote, moved in and tried to disappear into the interior of China. They pop them right back and throw them over onto North Korea's soil. So there's not like this whole.
Why are we caring about that country?
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, Jesus Christ. So, hold on, wait, I'm finished, and then you can speak whenever you're done fucking, like, licking whatever it is off the floor.
So, service announcement. Public service announcement to the retards that just entered the stage. People are talking, so shut the fuck up and wait your turn.
Yeah, so like we have been we have a ton of sanctions on them, and North Korea just is irrelevant at this point. But it's in terms of the IAEA or whatever it is, the alphabet agency, they have confirmed in 2020 and 2023, they confirmed that Iran was at 60%. They stated that this is well beyond the weapons grade, and it was 90% of completion of the ability to create it, because 60% is really, like, the hard part's over. It's just now basically a production factor and then putting it into a device to launch it. So this now becomes a massive problem. And then they said in 2025, prior to this, that yes, Iran has confirmed from multiple sites from the information that they have that they are still in or exceeding the 60% threshold, and that they currently have 450 some kilograms or something like that they were able to confirm that Iran has. And the belief was, if they were able to confirm this much with the way that Iran has not been open to inspection, and with what they see, there was beliefs that there may be actually more development than we're aware of. So the reports actually came out before Trump even bombed the 12-day war and all of this stuff, and we knew this, and it even occurred under Biden's administration. This was ongoing with issues. So, and I'm confused why people just don't say that there would be. They didn't say anything.
I'm all right. Please stop. We're having a dialogue. You get it after us.
Hey,
God damn, man. Yo, you fucking idiot, bro. Give them a couple moments to go back and forth, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the stage, please. I'm asking you. Go ahead, Mr. Shea. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you. Now, I'm not disputing everything you're saying, Viking. What I am saying is this, is like, I kind of used North Korea just as an example of an immediate threat with nukes. Now, we may have it contained, quote unquote, but at the same time, we're talking about a pressing threat. Now, I know you mentioned them getting closer and closer with reports from the RGC in 2020, but again, I guess my mind is still saying, okay, well, they've been under development, quote unquote, for years. So I'm pretty sure they got it. But there's no, like, I'm trying to figure out, are there any reports that state that, like, hey, once Iran gets this completed, they're going to just start blowing shit up and coming right at the U.S. Like, that to me is where I'm trying to understand as far as, like, this immediate need, or why we just popped up and started fucking with them last year.
So the concern that has been iterated is not necessarily that they would desperate, like maybe they might try to reach us. And where they have IRBCs, which are interregional ballistic missiles, they have that capability. IRBMs, I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. They don't have ICBMs, but they have IRBMs, and then they have ballistic missiles. So where they have these two different factions. And a lot of our politicians just automatically go to ICBMs. I don't know why they don't say the right thing. But these IRBMs, if they could be equipped even with a dirty bomb of
weapon that they have, and then we'd have a new Holocaust. We would have something untold. It's not just about them preventing them for us. It's more of preventing it for the region. Because if you imagine if they launch, or Israel launches, now all of a sudden it's not just those nations that are affected, it's the entire freaking area, the entire region, multiple countries.
Will we be on the line?
Yeah, nuclear holocaust won't happen. If there's a nuclear strike, it's strategic and it's to a military, predetermined coordinate, and the world is going to have to eat it. But if you don't think there's ever going to be a nuclear detonation when we spend fucking trillions and other countries spend trillions, it's the biggest firework man has ever created, and we love to pop fireworks.
Crisis have been waiting patiently, and thank you, Crisis. I appreciate you got the mic, brother.
I've been waiting patience, and I absolutely will.
You just you're gonna be waiting downstairs in the kitchen, man. Shut the fuck up, man. Get tired of these fucking take your ass out of the kitchen, make some sandwiches, bitch. Crisis, you got it. Make sure your face.
Sid, were you the one that mentioned earlier about like the different tactics? Stupid American motherfucker, listen to me.
What the fuck is going on right now? You can talk down. You can talk down in the kitchen while you making sandwiches with a mom.
Yeah. Hey, Sid, were you the one that mentioned earlier about the tactics?
Which tactics? Which ones?
In terms of like the different types of warfare, right?
Yeah. I did touch on it earlier. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, like, I'm not really sure where people get this doom and gloom when it comes to the American military capabilities, but they're vastly ignorant of our capability. And I definitely agree with everything you were saying earlier, because it's you were calling it adjusting. In the military, I think when they say adjust, the Marine call it adjust, adapt. And
same thing we saw with Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you can probably confirm this for me as
Absolutely, brother. So here's the thing. Yeah, kinetically we could drop a couple nukes on Iran right now and just be fucking done. But again, there's gonna be thousands, tens of thousands of dead civilians, babies, women, elderly. The United States can't do that. It's optically, that's gonna be a horrible fucking look. So that's not even an option on the table right now, unless Iran becomes such an imminent threat to our civilian population, then that would be the only acceptable reason to use that option. So when it comes to adapting, we don't have what it takes right now. We don't have what it takes right now to go in as cleanly as our administration has been telling us we can. Because that's so much fun, God, dude.
Hold on, Steve, because you're about to. I want you to continue. But like when people jump off the mic, I'm not ready. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
They're retarded. They got two brain cells, brother. They got IQ of about 50. Okay,
because I got special forces in my family. So like I've heard them speak about this conflict the way that you've been speaking about the conflict. And it's really just a question of how far do we want to take it
If we want to take it to total warfare or full spectrum warfare, it's a wrap. But that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, the vast majority of the American people don't want to do that because we understand what the cost is. That's why the real debate is a juice worth the squeeze. We can do it. There's no question.
I have a question for you, Say. I heard you say that it's not on the table, but isn't it also on the table?
What are you asking him a question in the middle of him answering your question? What kind of question is that? He's in the middle of answering a question.
You fucking asked him a question too, Bobo.
Can you ask him a question after he's answering it?
You just did the exact same thing, buddy. So don't control.
Just real quick, and then everybody, we can open up the floor again. So no, it's on the table, but America has to have a really good justification in order to drop nukes. We can do it. There's no question about it. We can do it and completely be done in 2 seconds. But they're gonna have to have a really good justification for the rest of the world why they killed tens of millions of innocent women, children, and elderly in the process. Right? So I'm thinking that the only justification we could have to do it is if Iran poses an imminent threat to our civilian population inside the borders of the United States of America. And that would be the only viable. If not, it's NPR, bro. It's CPR.
That's the reason why I asked you this, because you think that we need to pay attention to the World Cup that's coming up in the U.S.
Miss Mandrade, señorita, bonita, hermosa.
Every single terroristic attack to try to gain some insight on why they occur and how frequently they occur and when they occur. What he found, this was devastating news, okay, is that a lot of people assume Islam, when it comes to the Middle East, when it comes to Arabs and Islam, that the attacks are rooted in religion. And his study, his published paper found out that it wasn't. That there weren't that many terrorist attacks. Once the America invades a country, boom, the terrorist attacks shoot up, right? 90% is what he found out in this shit. All right, so what we're looking at is, statistically speaking, once we ground invade Iran,
the sun.
More than likely, when we're going to start seeing the terrorist attacks happen, we're going to start seeing these sleeper cells activate. Again, this is speculation, but this is based off his research. This is based off his publications. Is that the terrorist isn't really religious based; it's more politically based. And that happens to be when we invade other territories.
And then whenever you're saying like the optics, they wouldn't do it for the optics, but do you think that a president would make statements, the last 2 or 3 statements that Donald Trump made, if they were concerned about optics? Think about that.
Okay, so can we say something for dropping a nuclear bomb? The optics for that.
No, I understand, but think about what he said about civilization, ending of civilization. Praise be to Allah. Like, it's not normal shit that a president says. I don't think he gives a fuck about optics.
Well, here's the thing. If he didn't give a fuck about, right? Well, here's the thing though, and you're right. But here's the thing though. What's transpired in the last few days is that he made that threat to wipe out an entire civilization, and then an hour or 2 before that deadline, he said that Iran gave him a 10-point request list that is workable, right? And then Iran has consistently been posting their 10-point list and has never wavered from it, never changed it. And so that's why everybody's skeptical. Was like, wait a minute, you said it was a workable 10-point list, and this is a 10-point list they've been showing since day fucking one. Then all of a sudden, Caroline Levitt comes on in front of the people and says, he threw, if you think that 10-point list that they've been presenting for this past month, a little over a month, almost a month and a half, if you think that's the list President Trump was referring to, no, he threw that list in the trash. So now the American people have the question, okay, so what 10-point list are you talking about that's different from the one they've been consistently posting for the last month and a half? And this is where the White House is completely went silent now. And this is a bad look. This is a bad look for the White House and the president.
Okay, so can I speak?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think, like, okay, so my biggest issue in terms of what's going on right now in the Middle East is America's war in the Middle East is not for Americans, it's for Israel, number one. Number two, it's like, I don't get it. Why would Israel not get a weapon to protect themselves? Especially looking at what's going on in the Middle East. Like, I don't get how people think that Pakistan had, nuclear weapon because of India. So if Israel has that weapon, why would Iran have it? I don't get it. Especially looking at what's going on in Palestine, looking at what's going on in Lebanon, Syria, in front of their nose. And all of a sudden, people in that region have to keep quiet. You cannot protect yourself because America said if you protect yourself, we're going to bomb you. And America don't even take shit from the UN. They don't take shit from the UN. So who in the hell, who would sit in a neighborhood when one particular person is bombing everybody, but you're not expected to protect yourself with a weapon that they also have? How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
Have you ever played chess, sir? Have you ever played checkers? It's called game theory. That's how it makes sense, sir.
He's gonna finish. See, the 20 years ago is not the 20 years now. People have moved on. People know who America is outside America. People have seen American tactics. People have seen Israeli tactics. We are no more than 20 years ago. People have to plan for the future. People have to.
Sir, it's 2026. There's only the now.
Excuse me, sir, please. So again, America is not the god of the world. He's just a country like any other person. Everybody have the right to protect themselves. See what's going on in the world. It's only a fool who wouldn't go and get the nuclear weapon. Looking at what's going on right now.
Sir, are you an illegal alien in America? I just heard geese. Are you on a nature walk? Are those geese? Are you an illegal alien in America?
Go ahead, Tomo, you can finish it. You can finish.
Okay. The president who have ever used a nuclear weapon is America. He should not even be the one talking when it comes to nuclear weapon. Who's supposed to use it? He's the one who have ever used a nuclear weapon on a country. So why is he even the police of nuclear weapons? He's not even supposed to be using it or even talking about it. But he's the only person who has used it and killed innocent people. So who gives him the right to be talking about other people how to get a nuclear weapon or not? This is ridiculous. Every country, a sovereign country, has the right to get a nuclear weapon if they feel that they are being threatened by another country. Being it Iran, being it Israel, being it Palestinian, being it, how you call it, Hold on, excuse me, sir.
Sir, are you an illegal alien living in America? I just heard some geese flying overhead, sir.
You can go to Poland back where you came from. You can go to Poland, Russia, so again, are you Israelite? So hold on. I was born in Africa, you fuck. Wait, which part of Africa, sir? Which part of Africa, you fucking cunt? So you're an Arab too? So you migrated and go to the Jew, you fucking real.
Never had one lesson.
They are defining what it is to us. We know who they are. We know where they come from. It's just like you telling me I have a line. A stranger comes into my line and say that is part of it. No, we know where you come from, sir. We know where you smell where you come from. So regardless whether you are there for 20 years, 100 years, we know where you come from. And we can trace you to where you come from. Your name says it. Your language says it.
Where you come from?
Excuse me, sir.
Where you come from? Where did you come from?
Please, you are not.
So what? I was posting your No, you dumb fuck. You're embarrassing me right now.
Okay, so Tomo, we're working on topic. So let's get back on topic. What were you saying?
Exactly. Let me finish. Yeah, let me finish. So I'm just saying this. Looking at what's going on in the world. Like everybody has.
Why are you gay?
Let me finish.
What the gay got to do about this? These guys are crazy. Anyway, if they cannot have a quality conversation, they just turn up to gay. These guys are fun. Anyway, so I'm saying, look at what's going on in the world. Everybody has to protect themselves. It's only a fool who's going to see somebody's ass burning and someone to put water underneath his ass. That's crazy. And the person who is burning somebody is calling somebody terrorist. Can you imagine? The people who kill people are calling people terrorists. Who are you? The definition of terrorist is you. It's crazy.
That's where I gotta agree with him, man. Like, we go over there fucking with people's sovereignty. Beat our chest about God giving it right to them.
Questions like they were kingdoms. Talk to my echoes, thought it was all. Little universe on my pillow, spinning circles in my skull. Wrote my name across the cosmos, still the silence swallowed it whole. You cut through the smoke, like lighting through a painted sky. Jesus, you reveal what is real, pull me out of the lies inside. I am the only one. You lead me to the one true light. Mystery falling from my eyes. Truth of self in your open skies. Called it wisdom, just a spiral. A pretty cage around my doubt. Every answer led to absence. Every secret just shut me out. Then you stepped into my nightmare. Tore the curtain, broke the spell. Said you love before you question. Child, you're more than your
Give me the RGC, nuclear weapon that's ready to go with the fucking delivery system. Guarantee they're gonna fucking use it. Give fucking Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi one when they were alive, they would use it. There's a big difference, bro. Israel probably, if anybody has a right to fucking use it, the amount.
Hang on, you keep talking about hypotheticals of people who might use it.
I'm not talking.
No, that's hypothetical. It absolutely is hypothetical.
Holy shit.
Whereas Tom just told you that the USA, he just told you that the USA had definitively and conclusively and factually used nuclear weapons. So speak about that point, please, baby, because you keep talking about hypotheticals whereby people might use nuclear weapons. This guy might do that. He might do that and to stop him. He told you the USA has conclusively and factually used it. So speak to that point. So far, there's only one country that's ever used it. Speak to that point. Stop talking about hypotheticals, baby.
I don't need to speak to that point. I'm talking about Israel. He's saying that every country deserves to have a nuclear weapon. I'm saying absolutely not.
You just said that you had it, and Iran and all the rest of them use it. Yeah, you don't have a response.
Every country deserves a nuclear weapon. Not every country
Strikes on his jacket.
Hold on, guys. Okay, so it's okay. It's not gonna do as likely, but they will be less likely, but it comes
Storm
back.
of silence, a broken love.
Damn sure gonna see a nuclear holocaust. Why? Okay, because someone out there is going to say, "Fuck you, I'm going down. I'm fired."
You need to use machine first. You need to use machine
That's what I would call that a well-regulated area. The odds of getting away with something stupid there are very slim. Yet, talking about a nuclear weapon, you can say, fuck it, they're going to kick my ass. Let's just say it was Iran attacking the US.
On the neon skies where the started home.
Now, Iran doesn't take it down. Just wait. The more people that have
Shadows whisper truths as the baseline drum. Your will is fire. Unchained, untamed. No path is written. No soul is blamed. Thou hast no right but to do thy will.
get somebody to eat. Fucked it up because of your so-called fucking shit.
No shadows
Fucking people's life
no
up. You tell me
voices
who's
call.
out there or not. When you're at it.
The air is still.
You tell people why these people are or not. When you're at it.
Tight.
You really don't make no fucking friends.
No fear,
And you
no
tell
sin,
people
no
why they
way
you ever think you are
to
at it. And he's like, they don't know how. Who is the right to do whatever you want to do? When you're at it. They don't make no fucking sense. Probably irrational Africans like you. You know what you call yourself African? You call yourself Arab in the first place. Yes, the Arab president. Why you acting like you think I'm God? Like, what's wrong with you? Are you stupid or what? No, you're stupid. Anyways, no. So, truth. So, the difference between America and these other countries that you're talking about, these other countries want to die. They believe that this is how you fucking work. You go take their land. They say they want to die. You are killing part of this. You just want to die. You don't want to die. I said they want to die. I take their land.
Maybe there's just issues with what you just said. First of all, I never tried to take your company. I never tried to take your country necessarily make you and the same thing we have is you can always other potential people that they have told us, but we can also have the facts from the ground. If we have facts from you get facts, and we don't know facts when they take it out, right? So you are operating I'm sure one of those guys who's the best facts and all this stuff. If you're ignorant to that fact, that's your problem. The point is, you could have made that statement. You could have made that statement because you are operating on my device. You keep saying other people, Hunger's the it's constantly.
I'll ask the question, Joel, and it would be these things where you start talking over. You want to talk about fucking World Cup is, but everybody knows when someone has a conflicted fucking option. Saying that fucking couple part here. Just fucking everybody won't give you that answer, and then you're fine. It's weird.
I think you should keep quiet so your dad can keep your thoughts on the question.
Understand how Americans on this stage don't understand the difference between fucking radical Islam and fucking Western civilization and the difference between people that want to live.
It's not gonna affect you.
The same thing. The exact same thing. Again, interrupted. Help it. When a cop came up, well, I thought, and whenever I'm done, you can pull it out. I thought this was stop.
You know,
Oh my God.
you don't need to share your hobbies with us. It's not the same.
Shut the fuck up. Genocide's over there and it's not crying.
Okay, maybe you have anything else.
so concerned about the Iranian population. That's your concern, right? Like, you just think so strongly and deeply about the Iranian people. That's why you think, you know, the Iranian regime and so on needs to be dismantled. I guess you feel what's happened with ICE killing American civilians and all the rest of it. You feel on that basis.
American civilians. ICE wasn't attacked by American civilians, so again, it's lying.
So no American citizens, no American citizens are fighters. Okay, fine. We're just gonna make shit up. Decided to get in her car and attempt to I know the but she got her decision on decided to get in the car and you said ICE was killing Americans.
And they do How about you actually fucking practice what you preach? Go sit there and do their laws instead of worrying about what the fucking national vision of England keep us all up there. Why don't you actually fucking bring up a point that actually has some bearing on some slant, because you clearly don't know more than I do, and you clearly are the next age on the stage.
I mean, you can take that statement if you want.
How many police officers do they train to actually stand in front of a live engine block? If the engine block on a car is live, you think they're gonna just stand there and try to get out the way, or do you think they're gonna stop that car?
So his cover moves was actually on point. He shifted over from the rear to assess whether it was, came through the passenger side, and then he went to the front to provide cover while there was a third officer on the other officer's right at the back watching for that action. So he covered his angles right, because in case he did have to fire since she was acting aggressive and there was uncertain what she had in there, he had the best line of sight in order to draw his weapon and fire, because it was the safest way. If he did it on the passenger side, he would have shot the other officers.
Through the flames of the embers, the smile is the smoke. Your I wasn't sleeping, that springs tender glow. Your smiles are brilliant, power I know.
Something I'm standing up for the person who was in front of my life. It was not in the wrong thing. Trying to I was so much
What happens in all of a sudden? It's distracted. Number one, his job is to protect anybody around. Somebody's driving around in their car.
Veils of the morning, her armor darts gleam.
Don't let them remember the number of assaults.
ignites every dream.
It's crazy.
God has control. The throne comes at night. Manhood awakened. She took out her stone. Brilliance resilient. A fire does burn. A goddess of strength. If the world left to turn, fire without dream. I invoke. Through the flames and the embers, the spell is dispelled. Your arrows unslinging, the spring's tender glow. A force wild and brilliant,
Well, for me, I was trained anywhere from 10 feet because that distance too close. Good reaction. I had to do auxiliary security. So we did a lot. Like in there, it was the 15 circle, the 15-foot radius because even then that was not considered dangerous in that square.
It's 21 is what it really is. But they talked about the circle within the circle. There's the circle that you originally remember yourself with, and then you have to understand distance from that circle. But like when you're talking about a vehicle, that's a whole different game. The people use those examples.
by the mystic queen and a fairy and fall.
It's just fact that this is a person who lost a family member to a fucking cop who didn't do the right thing. And I'm still willing to stand up for the fact that they're not all bad people, bro. Like this shit is crazy.
Literally had the town that I live in that treated gentlemen with a knife.
Alright, can I tell you real quick? So Christ types, just a little context for Mr. Truth and Troll. Here's something that you should be aware about those areas. If the only time it's on social media, they were basically where they went and beat rockets. You know what an agitator is, Truth and Troll? So
Imagining
Hold on, sir. So, just listen to the context. So, they were basically what they were doing. They were fucking agitators. He's an agitator. So, with that being said, the temperature of the whole environment was excellent. Did you know a lot of things? You're absolutely right. That's right. Between trans people and
Please mute up and stop interrupting Truth. Stop interrupting. Let him fucking finish and mute your mic.
So they were putting water down to the officers